How's it going, guys? This is a different video for me. Normally it's guitar covers and things like that, but today I'm going to talk about my Aristides H06R. It's only mine for another few hours because I've actually sold it and it needs to get posted to France this morning. But yeah, so this is the H06R. So H relates to it being headless, 06 relates to it being a 6-string instrument, and R relates to it being part of their Raw series. So these guitars are not made out of wood or any traditional materials that electric guitars would normally be made out of. Even the fretboard, which looks like maple, is Richlite, which other guitar companies have been using. I think it's recycled paper and plastics, basically. I think the body is made out of Aristides' own concoction called Arium, which seems to be a mix of microscopic baubles and resins that's pulled completely off their YouTube video. You should go watch it and you can actually see the guitars being made. But no, basically an outer shell is made first, made of carbon fiber, glass fiber, and other things. It's like painted layer at a time in two halves, and then it's put together and glued, and then they basically injection mold it with Arium, and then I think they bake it, let it set, and so on. So it's a one-piece body, which you can see very clearly from the back of it. There's no join there at all. Like it's insane, to be honest with you. But yeah, so the only parts that you can really see the join are the body to the fretboard, basically. But it basically means the thing is resonant as hell with it being a one-piece body, but at the same time the material seems to be a lot more resonant and reactive than general wood, especially for an electric guitar. So me not being plugged in here, I'm not picking particularly loudly or anything like that there, but it seems very clear. Aristides is a custom guitar company, so bar a few one-offs, everything is custom ordered and custom spec'd by the customer and whoever you do it with. I have spec'd both mine out with Pascal, who is the CEO, I believe. Lovely guy, very dead on, very down to earth. So just a case of me messaging him back and forth about what options and stuff I can put into the guitar. You get updates throughout the process, so you might get one out of the body coming out of the oven where it's baked, the fretboard being glued on, the inlays, the body being sanded, so you get updates the whole time. For this particular one it took 6 months, so painted seems to be about 9, but depending on how busy they are, basically that timeline gets moved back and forth. But yeah, it just depends on the situation really. For my particular one, I opted for the bright rich light, which obviously emulates maple. Basically, I love the look of maple fretboards. You can see the sort of black offset inlays that cross over. I didn't opt for this in my first Aristides, but for this here, Headless, I thought it would be cool. I love the HO logo on the fretboard. I think it just looks really cool. Other specs for this, these are Aristides' own bare knuckle Aristides customs, which as far as I know you can only get if you order a guitar from the factory, because these are made specifically for these guitars. Bare knuckle could maybe make you them if you actually asked, but yeah, as far as I know they're based on the Emerald and Holy Diver set, which I think is just like a hot rodded JB 59. There'll be some examples of cleans, dirty and lead and things like that there. Yeah, so another part of the HO options was the custom trem they've designed with Handtug, Turkish brand I think. So yeah, with it being a multi-scale guitar, I imagine it's quite challenging to make a floating bridge to accommodate for that slant angle. But it's great. It works quite like a Floyd. Like it's there's a lot of play back and forth, a lot of travel. So it functions very much like a Floyd. You lock it as you generally would for a headless guitar up at the nut and also down at the bridge. I opted for this cool hybrid hardware. So it's black knobs, gold saddles, black base plate. You can see that throughout the guitar with like the black bobbins and gold pull pieces for the pickups. Another cool thing about this guitar is I opted for a custom wiring, so it's your typical 5-way, but the middle selection is split inner coils, because I heard Misha from Periphery's custom wiring and I thought that sounded amazing. Plus for me personally, the dual humbuckers in middle position has always just been useless. I've just never used it for anything. Another cool thing about this guitar is it has dual input jacks, so just there, and you can see this one's plugged in, but the idea of that is for playing in different positions. So let's go and plug this a second. So yeah, you can see in classical position there. You can also play like that there. And also off to the side, the more traditional way, but you have another input jack to stop that, getting in the way. Yeah, it also has glow-in-the-dark lumen lay side dots, which is a cool feature as well. A lot of premium features in the guitar. I can't remember what the nut is. I think it might be Graph Tech. The electrics like the switch and jacks and pots are all quite high quality stuff. I can't remember what they're called. The bar is made out of titanium, which is cool. It feels really solid. It feels like you'll break something. It doesn't feel like you'll ever break it. It feels like you'll break whatever it's attached to. I should also say that it's a multi-scale design, so on the bass strings it's a 26.1 scale length at the very lowest, and at the very highest string it is 25, so a bit more like a PRS actually. But it just means there's a bit more tension on the lower side for all your riffs and things like that there, and then on the high side you can still play leads and stuff without it tearing into your fingers. Honestly, I had no intention of ever really going the multi-skill route until I played one of their 060 RSs, which now I actually own, and it just blew my mind. I think that is just the perfect blend of tension where you want it, basically. So for riffs, especially if you down tune and stuff, but you get the best of both worlds because you can still bend strings and so on without that tension tearing your fingers apart. So some of the things I really love about this guitar, the playability, the thing plays so well. It feels like it's not really in your way at all. Just very low action and great feel. Like probably from the fact that the stainless steel frets as well, everything feels super smooth because of those. The weight, I think this weighs two and a half kilos, which is nice. It's maybe like a kilo off a normal guitar, so very light, but it's also super compact. Like it's amazing sitting here in an office chair and knowing that you're not going to bump a headstock or anything like that there. It sounds really good as well, despite you would think cutting away more of the material and stuff would make it sound a lot weaker, even acoustically. But like the guitar sounds phenomenal in the room and plugged in. Yeah, on that again, it's very resonant, just like any other Aristides guitars. The thing is just super loud. It feels, it's hard to explain, it almost feels like you get more of the natural note than regular guitars. It's the only way I can describe it. I also love how it looks. It just looks space age and futuristic to me. I think they just nailed the aesthetic without copying someone else like Strandberg and stuff like that there. Another thing I love about it is the playing positions, yeah. So I'm playing classical quite a bit, and it just feels like this thing's made for it. It's so comfortable, especially with the extra jack, so it won't back away and stuff like that there. So I'm going to talk about some things that I just don't like about the guitar and what's actually led me to sell it. I've got notes for everything in this video. Restringing takes a long time, for me anyway, personally. It would have taken me a long time to restring a Floyd Rose as well, for example. Especially my other Aristides, the 060 RS, it takes me 5 minutes with the locking tuners, just straight through the body, pull it tight, lock the tuner, clip it, tune it, that's it, stretch the strings. You have to be quite careful when you're restringing it, so at the bridge you have to cut off the ball end, fold it over, like a 7mm overhang thing, and then place it into the saddle, and it's a wee bit fiddly, if I'm honest. I think a wee bit of work could be done for new saddles or something like that would require you not to do that, or maybe even get past having to cut the ball ends off like Strandberg. That's something I'd love to see. It just takes me too long to restring this guitar. You also need to be quite careful with how tight you clamp down the locking nut, because a couple of times I just cut a string off by over tightening it, but it didn't feel at all like it was over tightening it. It just felt like enough, so that's a wee bit annoying. The trem bar also takes a wee bit of work, trying to figure out how to set up for it to be the required sort of stiffness or tightness. So like you can see, it's loosey goosey here at the moment. It's been a while since I've used this, so I don't even remember how to tighten it up. But yeah, there is a little grub screw thing there to adjust it, and it's threaded on the inside. I couldn't figure it out myself. How's it going, guys? My camera actually died. Should have charged it before this. It's also very early in the morning for me. So yeah, I wasn't very prepared for this video. But yeah, just to finish on the video, I wanted to say about who I think this guitar is for. So basically, someone who wants the benefits of a headless guitar, so the low weight, ergonomics, compactness, mental playability, and sound without being compromised by the ergonomic design. So generally you cut away the material the wood resonates from, you would think that would affect it, but this guitar still sounds just as good as a regular electric, in my opinion. There's another guy described it as it's a headless guitar that doesn't sound like a headless guitar, which I think is kind of spot on. It's a killer bit of kit. It's just the hassle stringing it, restringing it and stuff like that, the faffing around with Allen keys and so on, it's just not for me. I prefer, like, I'm lazy as it is changing strings. The 060 is an absolute breeze, but yeah, even at that, I'm lazy. Like, I'll play a set of strings until they're rusted beyond belief. If you're on the lookout for a high-end headless guitar, and you're used to those sort of things like long restring times and stuff, you can probably do it a lot quicker than I could. Definitely look into the Aristides HO, because the guitar's killer. It's just, as I say, there's just a couple of things that annoy me a little, but there's plenty of things that annoy me about other guitars, so it's also subjective. One other thing I wanted to add that I forgot to put in the video earlier, the guitar case that the HO comes with is awesome. The other non-headless models come with mono gig bags, and they're as close to a gig bag could be to a hard case, in my opinion. They're just really high quality and super sturdy. But yeah, basically, if you look up Jackalpun on YouTube, he's probably the first guy I ever seen using an Aristides guitar. Really cool covers and insane guitar player. But basically, he started a company called Quantum Industries and makes guitar cases and like touring boats for like bands and stuff like that there. But he designed the case for the HO, and it's awesome. So this is the Quantum Industries case. You can see I still got the plastic on it because I've not used it. But yeah, this really cool high-end sort of metal plate. This is a big storage compartment, so I've got loads of stuff in there. Aristides logo. It's really hard to explain this without someone seeing it, but this is so padded. So is this big like neck cradle, and it's actually velcroed on so you can move it. Real high quality sips. It even has a one of those TSA locks on it. So yeah, very premium gig bag. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna see if I can do more stuff like this here, because to be honest with you, I'm constantly cycling guitars in and out, just buy something, sell something, so on. I just love how different they all are and things like that there, so I'm gonna try and do some more videos like that. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'm sure there'll be covers coming soon. But yeah, thanks for watching. Any questions about the guitar, just put it down below and I'll try my best to get back to you. Thank you.